morning, everyone. Welcome to the Unison Symposium. We would like to recognise that the work you're going to be witnessing and participating in today has been created on Wurundjeri land, and we recognise the importance of language in all arts and culture. Language is a fundamental action that can connect us to our historical selves and locate us within space. Language starts from land, both historically taken and currently shared. The value and intention of public space is an essential question for its community. And what we hope we share with you today is the potential for language, arts and culture to form part of the answer. So with this, I'd like to invite Uncle Ringo to welcome us to country. Thank you so much for joining us, Uncle Ringo. I'm going to hand over to you.
Welcome to this part of country here today. Pardon my state of exhaustion. I'm just getting to the tail end of one of those bad Melbourne colds that have been persistent for a week and a bit, but hopefully I'm at the tail end of it. There was a little bit of confusion with the booking around this. Someone else was supposed to be here, but it landed in my lap, so here I am.
We're happy to have you.
Yeah. So I didn't get much information on this. I got this on short notice, but I'm happy to be here, just to simply conduct a welcome to country for you guys. I mean, I have a lot of familiarity with this place. Like I said that with no teeth. But this was the old site of the Collingwood Tech School. And my father attended school here back in the would have been the 50s and that sort of era. And I think this is where he met my mum, here, around this precinct. As we all know, Collingwood and Fitzroy has a lot of contemporary history for Aboriginal people. Contemporary meaning, late 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, continues on today. But, we know there's people that have been highly and severely impacted by the effects of colonisation in such a short period of time. It's left us all reeling. It's left us all, with painful memories of that short space of time, if you want to consider an age of, a lifetime of even 50 years. That's 4 generations of 5 generations of people that, out of, suggestive, estimation for Aboriginal people existing in this land, modern dating methods, and that's all they have to go by, carbon dating methods and so forth, that, put people here at 100,000 years at the most, but I think, we all know that it extends far beyond that. And I do. I feel that. The interesting thing for me is that when we touch on art and the reasons why we're here today, there were never any sort of literary words written on rocks and bark. So it was all spoken orally, the stories and the knowledge and the wisdom which was handed from person to person and generation to generation, I think is somewhat odd, but profound and beautiful. I think a race of people that never wrote any words. It's unbelievable. In some sectors, unacceptable. But, for me, it's quite profound and unique. I think it's highly unique that, words were never written, they were always spoken, so they were the level of honesty and integrity in those words carries a lot of weight. There's a lot of depth to those words and the literary nature of it all, The expression of art forms, telling those stories. The art forms, suggested or implied or explained totems, special places. They never depicted other people's countries. We never painted about Bunurong or Wathaurong or Yálla-birr-ang or Tunurong, Gunai Kurno. We painted stories of our own countries that were informative for future generations, and all this was so, sadly and violently interrupted just over a couple hundred years ago, where all that stopped suddenly. Time stood still for everyone. And in those generations that I mentioned, witnessed all that. Which is why we are still reeling and trying to make sense of it all. Make some sense of it all. And it's occasions like today that help simply by requesting an elder to attend these types of events demonstrates deep respect and acknowledgement and healing. A source of healing for people, such as myself, who's experienced, many different degrees of trauma, pain and sorrow. I can't sit here and number what or articulate what I've witnessed. I wouldn't have enough time. I grew up on the missions. I grew up on the streets of Collingwood and Fitzroy. I'm a member of the stolen generations. I'm a lucky survivor of all that. I grew up in the institutions of Parkville with some of the worst criminals from Melbourne. I turned 60 next year. I was born in 1964 when the Beatles come to Melbourne. That's how I got that bloody name Ringo. But times are changing, ladies and gentlemen. Times the load is getting easier to bear because you're starting to help to share that load, carry some of that pain, and sharing the memories, and extending hope for a brighter future for us together to continue to move forward as we acknowledge each other more deeply and more respectfully, and acknowledge the land that we're on, and not just acknowledge, the dark history of the last couple of hundred years, but the extended history of this beautiful country. In my opinion, the most amazing country on earth, still to this day. the whole landscape is sacred to Aboriginal people. Every single square inch of this land. Not just little pockets here and there, but every single square inch of land, sea, water, wildlife, nature remains sacred to our people. It's never been forgotten. It's never been lost. It's never been ceded in any way, shape or form. And nor will it ever be, ladies and gentlemen. So coming out of the traumatic period, our people are starting to find themselves, starting to find our feet somewhat. Talks of treaty and voice to parliament. I don't know much about all that stuff, but I know enough to say that everything that's on the horizon for a brighter and better future for everyone in this country, because all in all, this is your culture. This is your inheritance. This is your birthright, simply by being born into this land or signing those citizenship documents. This is yours and your children's culture. Why shouldn't it be? Why shouldn't we feel more ownership over this mysterious culture? You know, over the smoking ceremony. You know? I dare say when I light my smoking ceremonies, to remove the mysticism and the mystery of it all, the unknown. I pour one of them sticks out of the fire and I simply say to children, this is so much akin, you know. Hold that stick up and I say, this is so much akin to that sacred candle that we light. We put in a sacred space, temple, church or in your home or whatever. But it's not about the candle, it's about what it represents for someone up on high who's gone before us and who we believe resides with our ancestors. Our ancestor who may have passed away yesterday or 12 months ago. Our ancestor, you know? And who we believe resides with our Creator up on high in the gum tree forest in the sky. So I won't take up much more of your time, Joe. Me and Joanne was looking at each other out in the hallway thinking, should I approach her? Should I approach him? I know what Uncle Bill looks like, but who's this strange black fella standing in the foyer? And I'm there scratching my head like... She looks like the one that I'm looking for. She actually looks like a Joanne. So anyway, we got there in the end, eh? And the lady in green approached me and I... looking at each other's Nikes. But anyway, I got the old school ones. So, yeah, I just want to acknowledge the passing of one of the Wurundjeri elders yesterday. And, acknowledge all Aboriginal people here today, First Nations people here today. Pay my respects to all the old people, all the survivors, you know, all the amazing people who are here today that have taken the time to listen to our words today that we've never written. You know, deadly way, eh? And, you know, you see a black fella in the street, just take the time. Just give them a passing smile because it means so much. It means ever so much more than you'd think. Just a quick acknowledgement. That's all it takes to make someone's day better, ladies and gentlemen. So, I'll leave it there. I'm appealing a bit. I've got to get home to these bloody grandchildren. They're driving me crazy. Money, 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 pop. La, 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 la. Anyway, so, yeah, just also like to, acknowledge the considerable multicultural community here today as well. Extend my respects and acknowledgements. Cheers to your people. Acknowledge your culture and your traditions and spiritual beliefs and personal preferences, whatever it is. I'm all good with that. And, have some great discussions today. Share some deep meaningfuls. Meet new people. Step into those relationships, because relationships is what life's all about. With the land. With your spirit, connection, and everything else. Bonjour, God bless you all. I'll leave you with that. Quickly, same language. Wamajiga Human Kundi Balik Nam Mimni Dulagas, which translates to welcome to this beautiful land of ours today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Uncle Ringo. I love, your the way you talk about relationships. That's what it's all about, and that's what we're trying to do here today. So I'm really glad that after looking at each other in the hallway for 5 minutes, we figured out that we were meant to meet. So thank you for that. If you don't mind sitting here while I introduce the next speaker, then you can go home to those grandkids.
Yeah.
Thanks.
They're driving me crazy. And I'm getting old. Boys. Anyway.
Well, that's waiting for you. Very good. Thank you again. That was really wonderful. So the Unison Symposium forms one of many ways that we're marking West Space's 30 years. And today we aim to contribute to a discourse that illuminates the history and place of artist-led spaces within the context of a rapidly evolving art sector. So today you'll hear from artists and arts professionals engaged in analysing the complex conditions under which culture is produced. But also they're going to be speaking about the potential for art to transform such conditions. So please make sure you're comfortable, settle into your seat. Feel free to move about the space, grab a coffee from Padre, stretch. We know that active listening doesn't look the same for everyone, and we want to welcome you in the many ways that you might occupy your space today. And just some quick housekeeping. The bathrooms are just out the door. You would have walked past them as you came in. And this event is being filmed, so if you wish to not be in that film or in the photographs that are then presented at a later date, just come up to me and let me know, or one of our team. And halfway through the presentations, we're going to break for lunch, so make sure you're around for that. We've got a plant-based feast that's currently being cooked over at West Space. So if you go and see the show today, you'll step into our kitchen. That's being prepared by Ron and Jafari, and we'll serve complimentary drinks at that point as well. So I will introduce the presenters with quite a light touch today. So if you want to read more about them, you'll find their full bios on our website. And they're all around here sitting amongst you. So feel free to say hi and talk more. Some of them are quite short, but they'll be here to chat to. So I'm now going to ask Diego Ramirez to make his way to the stage. Welcome him. We might hand over. That was amazing. Yeah.
Diego, welcome, brother. Well, as you come, I might go. Just to finish off, ladies and gentlemen, so I facilitate a community space right next door to the Fitzroy Police Station. It's called the Black Pearl Art Studio, and we're just starting to find our momentum and growing we're finding our legs now.
Yeah.
And got a little blocks of funding here and there, grassroots. We service all the mob up here and around town, and free from governance, heavy shroud of governance. and the restrictive nature of governance. So, we serve meals up there. We open every Wednesday, Thursday and Friday afternoon from 12 to 5 in the Gladys Peel Centre right next door to Fitzroy Police Station. And this week we're going to be promoting a screening of one of the latest massacre documentaries from Gippsland called The Warrigal Creek Massacre. And, I guess I'm sending an invite out for people to drop in and come in and have a cuppa with us on those times when we're open and start a relationship.
Love it.
Bonjour bless. Thank you.
Thank you.